I've been doing a bit of research because I'm doing some stuff with the Tassie Devils, and I see Tasmania as the ultimate underdog. At the bottom of the earth, the closest place, or one of the closest places to Antarctica.
Yep.
They're off the beaten track, little island at the bottom of the mainland. And it's an identity that I've unknowingly been attracted to and started to recreate in myself for a period of time. But after reading into it and looking back as I get a little bit older, you go, oh yeah, that actually makes sense. So I grew up and I look at Tasmanian athletes, David Boone, Matthew Richardson, another underdog status of Tasmania, who just came to the big smoke and without knowing it, sort of defied the odds of Bass Strait and getting to play professional sport. Ricky Ponting, a kid from Mowbray in Launceston.
Not much of him.
Not much of him. He was a skinny kid growing up, but he went on to obviously captain Australia. He went on to make 13,000 test runs and he's an icon of Australian sport and world sport. And to know that he grew up 200 k's away from me and that we connect because we're from the same place. You're drawn to people like that are world beaters, and there's sometimes an element of tall poppy syndrome, I think, on the mainland, whereas the underdog and the successful are really celebrated in Tasmanian lifestyle.
If they win, we win. And I think the other thing about the underdogs is that as much as it's the character of who they are in terms of how they just don't give up, they show resilience. They keep going when all other people would give up. They also tend to be really funny characters as well. It's like that sort of pressure and desperation that they have breeds this real interesting character. The Western Bulldogs as a club is filled with characters just like that. Like you think about the father-sons, the Liberatores, the Wallaces, more recently the Darcys. These people are just people that epitomise what it means to be a Western Bulldogs player. And I think it's also what the fan base of these clubs connect with most. Yeah. They all want to see you win every week, don't get me wrong. And let's be honest, they can be a hard taskmaster at times, especially when you feel like you should be better than you are, or they feel like that the club is not performing to the best level of their capabilities. It can be a tough relationship to have. But the thing that always came back to me, at least, and what I tried to hold on to in a position where I did feel like I was under a lot of pressure a lot of the time, was these people support the club no matter what. I'm a part of the club now. I'm a part of the custodianship that we have as players to protect the jumper and the jersey and to be a part of the community that's built this club over a long period of time. Last year, I was lucky enough to go to the 70th reunion of the 1954 Grand Final, and I was listening to one of the players who's still alive, and he's 93, talk about the game and how afterwards they tried to go out and they got locked out of Festival Hall and all this other stuff. It was just a completely different lifetime ago. And they asked the question, do you still think about it? And he goes, every night before I go to sleep, I think about winning that 1954 Grand Final, as he grew up 150 metres away from the ground. And for me, the connection between me and him is decades and decades apart, but it's holding on to one common thread, which is that the Bulldogs have been in a position where it didn't look like they were going to last. They managed to, and at two different points in their history, they were successful enough to win the AFL Premiership.
What's the underdog story that you want to see this year? Who's the team that you'd love to see win it?
Yeah, it'd be tough to go past the Bulldogs. They feel like they're a bit underdogs at the moment.
You won it again in 2016.
Yeah,
that's not underdogs, is it?
It's almost our 10-year reunion.
Give me someone other than the Bulldogs. Is there a side that you think's due and that could break the duck and that you would nearly say your second favourite team?
Well, the affinity that I have to a club that's gone through much of the same pain and suffering as the Bulldogs. The Saints are obviously next in line. They've got the longest running drought at the moment. They don't look like they're going to win it this year, but it would be nice at some stage for the right people at St Kilda to get up and celebrate what has been, I'm sure, a very difficult fanfare. What about you?
I've got the long-suffering Carlton supporters. I think they're due. I think they're due, and I think that
my dad and my sister, my mum, my former self.
You?
Yeah,
I think they're ready to relive their underdog status and potentially win the grand final.